Hello, everyone. It's me, Dr. Lynn Daniel, coming to you today here on my Lynn Daniel channel on YouTube. I have a great opportunity to share with you all today. This is going to rock your world. One of my oldest and dearest friends, way back in high school days when we were young teenagers catching up in high school. We're still friends today. I won't tell our ages. You all have an idea of mine. So, but don't we look young?
It don't crack. It don't crack, sister. You know that. Just say it what it really is. You know, it does not crack, and it's really about.
It doesn't crack. So Jrome, he's coming to us from New York City. He is an actor, performer, songwriter, singer, and he's going to tell us about this play that he's in this week in New York City called The Exonerated. This is a real true life story. This play was written from gleaning from real life documents, court records, interviews. I'm like, whoa, I just wish I could be there to see this. All right, so take it away, Jrome. Tell the people who you are and what you're.
Well, I'll tell you. This show is called Exonerated. And it's really it's a fabulous piece. It's about these characters who were railroaded into prison by chance. You know, they might have been there, but they didn't do it, but they refused. And they did 10 years, 15 years. My character did 7.5 years. His name is Robert. And he was accused, he was living in Mississippi, and he worked at a racetrack. And he was accused of rape and murder of a white woman. Mm. And he had sex with this girl. She had sex with a lot of guys at the racetrack. But she was murdered by her boyfriend who was white. But they railroaded this guy. Next thing you know, he was in there for 7.5 years. So he gets out, he can't get a job, he can't get his racing license back. He can go buy a gun, but he can't get his racing license back. And that shows you what happens to people who left prison, who were exonerated, who did time, that they still suffer the consequences because that stuff follows you no matter where you go. For instance, me at 19 years old, being railroaded in St. Louis at Career Beauty School, accused of assault and battery, 2nd-degree assault and battery. And then on top of it, said I tried to sexually assault someone there at the school. You see what I'm saying?
And that went all the way to a court case.
Yeah, that went to court. I was in court. In fact, they kicked me out of beauty school. They blacklisted me. So any other school that I would try to go to, they were like, no, we don't want you. And it all started because I went to a school that did not like Black people. At that time in 1981.
Early 80s.
I enrolled in the school. Of course, the guy wanted the money. He's like, oh yeah, sign this paper here. We'll get your student loan. And I was for a school to get into because I had tried to go to college and I wasn't really prepared to go to college. So I said, well, I need a skill. I want to go to New York. I'm a singer, I'm an actor, but I do need a skill. My way out of getting out of St. Louis was going to beauty school and getting my license. Well, by April, May of 1982, this shit had hit the fan, baby. They had railroaded me, had me up on charges. My parents had to get an attorney. They had to first bond me out, get an attorney. I had to go through a trial. And during the trial, they had all these people line up and say what I had done to them and all this stuff. I had to admit that I was a homosexual to get the charges of assault off me. You know what I mean? what, this guy's admitting this, that he's a homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
Then found the secretary of the school who saw the incident, the kids attacked me. She finally said that they attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
It was said and heard that she did not like niggas. That was the word, and that's how it was. But she had enough integrity. And I'll say this, you know what? That's why I have to have love in my heart for people. I don't care who you are, what color you are, or where you go to church, what your sexual orientation is. It's really, to me, it's not about that. It's about your integrity and your heart.
Integrity, right, and the character.
And this woman who did not like niggas, she said she was woman enough to say that I did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Judge realized at that point, for real, that I had been railroaded, you know.
And that was the climate back in that time in that place. So she admitted in the court that she didn't like N-words.
Yes.
But then she said, so she had to, like, I'm not taking his side, I'm not defending him, but really this is what happened. And that was the climate back then. And
that was the climate.
You know, if you crossed a certain part to go to South St. Louis, they run you out of there.
You knew that. And we were, as children, we knew that.
Yeah.
We go to Manchester because our school was on what? Metro was on Manchester.
Manchester, that turned the show though. That's right.
That was there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we didn't go any further.
Close.
Than that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it's true, we did not, because we already knew they were going to harass us. The cops were going to harass us. The kids were going to harass us.
It was interesting.
The women were going to harass. Isn't it something how life was back then?
It's unbelievable.
And it was the funniest thing, and I always tell people about my father. I said, my father was a hustler. I says, but he went legit. And I remember as a kid going to Clayton, Missouri, and being able to go to Boyd's and shop there.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't no Black folks allowed in Boyd's in Clayton, Missouri, but they allowed my father. My father had a charge there, and he could pick out dresses, and my mother could go in the dressing room in the 60s there and change. And you know, that was unheard of.
Yeah, exactly.
As a Black woman or a man, you could not change in those stores. Mm-hmm. They might let you purchase something. Right. She wasn't changing, but my mama to change. So at one point in my life, I hadn't experienced that because my parents sheltered that from me. Mm-hmm. The first time I actually experienced that was, you remember Officer Friendly? We were little kids. The officer come to the school. Mm-hmm. Officer Friendly. They said, when you see an officer, wave at the officer. Well, we were traveling to Mississippi, and I was in the back of the car. And I waved at the officer, like my dad was driving down the highway. That officer pulled us over and harassed my dad, gave my dad, he did in Mississippi. Yes, he did. Yes, my father had to go. We had to go to the jailhouse.
What?
Yes, because I waved at an officer in Mississippi.
That's crazy.
I thought that he was officer friendly.
So
he was officer friendly, all right.
No. Yeah. Right. Wow. Let's look at the play. So the play is set in what time period?
Actually, it goes from the 70s to the 90s, actually.
Okay. So the 70s, depending on where you were, you were dealing with inequities.
You were dealing with craziness at that time, you know? And now I look at my life. I mean, I've traveled all over the world. I've met all types of people. I've lived in people's homes who didn't even speak English, who didn't even know what really, but were lovely to me and kind to me. When I go to London, I have a family. They're from Israel. I have other people there from other countries, and they're loving and warm and kind to me.
There are good people in the earth. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because that helps individuals to heal.
Yes.
Once when you suffered inequities, injustices, and just plain old meanness and cruelty, coming upon nice people or tenderhearted people who can love you, man,
Yes.
that's
You know, I tell people, and someone asked me, how did I feel when that happened to me at Career Beauty School when those kids attacked me? I was afraid, but also at an early age, my mama had put a gun in my mouth. By then, all bets were off because I didn't trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when your parent shows you that kind of violence,
mm-hmm.
and you realize that the world, there is real violence out there. You understand what I'm saying? So I had a lot of hard lessons when I got raped. I got raped when I was 16. Mm-hmm. I was 15 going on 16. I got raped by this ex-con. And my mom pulled a gun. How he stopped, my mom pulled a gun on it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so when you had experiences like that in your life, you don't believe people, you don't trust people. To this day, it's hard for me to sleep next to anybody.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's real talk, you know.
I get it.
Relationship-wise, it makes it difficult for someone to say, well, you're wrong, because I'm so like this sometimes, and it's much better than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Those kind of things affect your life.
Right.
And I always say this about my parents. I said that they knew better, they would have done better.
Right.
And
it makes me, everything you're saying makes me think about like those characters in the play who many of those people are real life people. I know your character, Robert, is fictionalized.
No, he's real.
Oh, he's a real guy?
He's a real person. In fact, he's back in prison.
Oh my goodness. I thought, okay. Yes. So all of them are real life.
They're all real characters.
Wow. And see, they come out, those experiences, if we can't trust folks just living in the for real out world, and intimacy is hard for us.
Yeah.
You can imagine how it is for them.
Think about that.
Just mistreated, and then the justice system being abused and wrongly used against them. It's terrible.
I am so glad actually to be cast in this show, because to be the vessel, to be able to tell someone's story, is to be heard.
Right.
And to me, that's an honor. I take that as an honor to be chosen to actually do that. You know, I don't take it lightly either. Girl, I've been working on these lines for the past 3 months. I sleep script because the work is so detailed. You know what I mean? It was written by Jessica Blank and Eric Jensen. And I must say to them, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of work. And now it's directed by Patricia R. Floyd. And this director, she had a vision. And I wish I could look at it myself, actually. But it's going to be, it really is going to be something to see. And I'm really blessed to be part of this, really. Now, we run, I think 5 shows, through the 10th. And we're at the Burning Wall Center in New York City, and that's on 91st and 92nd Street, and that's 647 Columbus Avenue. So it's something really, really to see. But I mean, I'm on stage sometimes, right? I hear these stories, it makes me cringe.
It reminds me of, it made me think of when I was a freshman in college and I did Lady in Brown in
I remember that.
10 Gays. Yeah, I did Lady in Brown and I wasn't even.
Didn't I come see you? I came to see
No,
you.
I did it in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, I missed it.
Right. I did it in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And then when I got back home, I auditioned at Forest Park and I didn't get it. And then I got a role for Raisin in the Sun. But see, I was doing that because that's what we did in high school. It wasn't serious to me like it was to you. And so they asked me to leave because I wouldn't remember my lines or nothing. And they just asked.
But you always could sing.
But I did Lady in Brown
and can act. And can act. You know you can act.
I did Lady in Brown. I made myself. I wonder what I was thinking about this. What made them write this play? Like, did they write it for their doctoral thesis, dissertation, or are they just playwrights? Is this what they do? Because I mean, this is deep. This is a social justice piece.
There are people in this world that are writers that write for justice.
Well, this is definitely one.
And this is a piece that is written for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to be, you know, I always say this. When you're an artist, you need to sing it, dance it, write it. Just get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Get out to the atmosphere. If the atmosphere will accept it.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? But these pieces are so important because we need to hear these things because we need to change as people. We need to change.
Right.
How we treat one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never understood this, you know, and this is the sad thing about people. People will not stand sometimes for something that is correct. They can see someone being treated unjustly and they will not stand.
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked me, was I angry about what happened to me when I was growing up? And I told them, no, I was not angry. They said, well, why are you usually mad? I said, I'm not mad. I said, because you know why? I said, because they just didn't get it. And people in this world sometimes just don't get it. And they'll know it's wrong.
Right.
And no matter what, they will sit there and they will allow it to happen. It takes a person to stand and say, no, don't do that. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Because people don't want to be outside the norm. They want to be part of the norm. But see, I don't want to be part of the norm because I realized something. If that woman, that white woman, hadn't told the truth, I would have been in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
she was courageous. Now I wish she hadn't prefaced it, but I understand that in that time she felt she had to preface the truth with that statement. But that's a reflection of the time.
But that's a reflection of the time only.
He told the truth. And that's God's grace right there. And what I admire about you, Jrome, is you reframe. And that's why you are healthy and you're strong and you look just aglow because you've taken all the things that happened to you that you just didn't like and that were cruel. You reframe those in a way that you could go on and live your life and be healthy. That's a blessing. You're mentally healthy, you're strong physically, you have good social connections and a good network of people in your life. You know almost everybody in show business, my goodness. So, I mean, that is beautiful right there. That's a testimony right there. You're not somewhere broken down. Woe is me.
No, I'm not bitter at all about this. Right. I'm not bitter about the business. Let me tell you something. My parents died 30-some years ago. And I was blessed with people to really bless me and to mentor me, really. So if I had to go through that to get to this, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been able to help other people, talk to other people, be a part of different things that if that hadn't happened, this wouldn't have happened. You see what I'm saying? I came here the first time at 15 and a half, 16, run away. I was in Chicago. A lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. But you know what? I always said this. One time, this happened to me, this is real quick. This man pulled a double-barrel shotgun on me.
What? I don't remember you telling me this situation.
Yes, I was young, and this guy pulled a double-barrel. Okay, let me put you like this. I was out there where I should not have been.
Mm-hmm.
Man picked me up, took me to his house, went to his house. He came out the bathroom and pulled a double-barrel shotgun on me.
That's scary.
Ran me out the house, buck ass naked. The police had to give me pants to put on. I was in the newspaper, the world newspaper. So
wow.
I needed.
That was back home then, if you were in the world.
Yes, I needed to leave. No, let me tell you, so after I left St. Louis, my life changed.
Sure did.
Yes, my life changed. You see, when I left St. Louis, that person that had gone through all that, it happened.
Yeah.
I didn't carry it with me because I wanted another chance.
Right.
I needed a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And God put people in my life like you and other people to help. I'm so grateful. I think about Ashton Springer, who produced Bubbling Brown Sugar, who put me out the theater in St. Louis. He was living in New York City. I'm out there selling weed, little nickel bags, and sneaking in the theater, watching his show free. He put my butt out. But let me tell you something. For the summer, when For Color Girls to Consider Suicide was in St. Louis that year, they came. That summer, they flew me to Chicago and Kansas City and gave me a job selling programs for the show.
That's wonderful.
My God.
You made your way. You really
understand what I'm saying? So those were angels.
Yeah.
Were angels. When I speak of Stephanie Hewley, Young Hewley, Betty Lavette, Mabel Lee, those were God. They're my godparents.
Mm-hmm.
God gave them to me.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's right. There you go.
To help mold your life. And
yes, indeed.
You are just phenomenal. Like you've been
bless your heart.
You've been in New York all this time, and you've just done. You just layer upon layer upon layer. Your music, your productions, your performances.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you, sister. Thank you. You know, you're really encouraging. I see you out there. You know, I'm like, doctor. She's a doctor. Lynn Green, a doctor. Lynn Daniels. I mean, it's like, I met you. I was how old? 15 years old when I met you.
You was young. About 14 to 15. 14.
I think I was 14. I hadn't turned 15 yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 or 16.
Yeah, you were my big sister. You became my big sister at Metro High School. You were like, Jrome, because I was like a little wild one kind of. And you were like, Jrome, you go to class, you be on time.
Yeah, I did.
And Betty's like, you should listen to Lynn. Betty Wheeler, of course, our principal. You listen to Lynn.
Oh, I'm glad she said that because I thought Betty, I was like, Betty don't like me this. But I mean, she's never been rude to me or anything.
She respected you because you were mature.
Oh, is that what it was?
You were mature.
I was.
Yeah, we were kids. We were children, but you were the mature one. You were like, Jrome, go to class. You're late. I'd be like, Lynn, I want to do. I want to go down there and buy some chicken. You like,
Go down the street to the restaurant or something.
and buy some chicken. You like, you go to class.
That's right.
That's right, sister.
Those were some good days.
Yes.
I know Betty is proud. You know, I know that when she looks back on all of us, that she's proud because we really honor her,
Yes.
her investment in us.
Her legacy.
Many of us who graduated from Metro
Yes.
just do great things, you know?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, I love to see Rose online. I see Rose online sometimes, and it just thrills me to know that she's still with us.
I know
what we're doing, you know. And I know Betty, God bless her soul, she sees what we're doing as well.
It's good to still have Rose. I miss Mrs. Mayer. I miss, you know. And then Ray Kemper passed away.
Who did?
Ray Kemper,
she did?
Foreign language teacher.
She did?
Yeah.
When?
Recently. It was in the Facebook group.
Like I had no idea this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I don't know what happened to Jeanette Boney. She used to be in the Facebook group, but I haven't heard from her in years.
Oh, was she there?
Yeah, she was the math teacher.
She wanted to hang me up. Remember she put me out her class?
Well,
I mean, I created detention at Metro High School.
No, you did.
Betty, when I was talking to Dan, she said to me, she says, I would come into the office and I would see you in Betty's office and they would have the door closed.
That's right.
Be in there laughing. I says, I was in detention.
In detention. You were the originator of it and the only student.
Okay, I was the only one in detention. Betty would cuss me out. She'd be like, you little I mean, back then, now check it out. If that was now, they would have had her in jail.
Well, yeah.
Or they would have fired her by now. Because Betty be like, listen, you little mother, so and so and so and so and I'll kick your so and so and so. Get your ass back to class. This is the principal of the school. Get your ass back to class.
You got me sweating. Oh,
you little black ass little boy, you. And I'd be like this. But I adored her.
Yeah, she really did so into us. And
she did.
I mean, really, she really sold into us. And it helped us. It really helped us to find our paths.
Yes.
So that we could go in the direction of our natural, what we like to do.
And that's what she wanted us to do.
Our group, we used to sing and dance and do all of those things, but then we had to find, careers. And you made this a career and you've done it. Like this play right here. I hope, are they going to film this?
I'm not sure. You know what?
They've got to put this on YouTube or somewhere.
With these equity shows, I mean, showbiz theater is kind of like everybody got to agree for them to record it. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's right.
But don't y'all want to see y'all's work?
Yeah.
I'm from this kind of school. I think maybe I'm wrong. I feel like if I do a show, I should get a copy of my show.
It would be nice.
That's at least you could give me for all the blood, sweat, and tears.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's always rules and laws when it comes to equity and things like that. But if I was in charge of equity, I'd be like, listen, everybody deserves a tape of their work.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you get more work.
Mm-hmm.
What you do, and everybody, like this COVID situation, everybody can't buy a ticket.
Mm-hmm. I saw
everybody
that.
Can't come. There you go.
They must have proof of
vaccination
and wear a mask. I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, and also you can't have as many people in the theater anymore.
Right.
So I mean, it's like everything is, I mean, they have measuring tapes now, measuring seats where you can see that and all that stuff. So
Wow.
it's a different world now.
Yeah, it would have been nice had they streamed it or some, and I know the technical side of that is probably, very expensive with cameras, angles, lighting, and stage direction and all of that. But man, I really want to see this one.
Oh, well, hopefully they will tape it. Like I did a show in Baltimore and they streamed the show.
Okay, that's
And
good.
it's a wonderful technology.
Yeah.
I think it's a little expensive, whatever, but to me, it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And it increases the exposure, letting more people see the work over longer periods of time. And then, if someone wants to hire someone from that show or hire that producer,
There you go.
that work. So I don't know. That's not my expertise, but makes sense to me.
But I'm going to definitely mention it though. I like mentioning little things like that.
Yeah.
Think about streaming the show and see what they say, because it can be done. And also, when they're streaming, they sell tickets when they stream. Do they sell tickets to streams?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Make more money.
Make more money as well.
Right.
You see, you should have your own. You should have your own major company, darling.
Woo.
That's gonna happen soon for you. That's gonna happen soon, okay?
All right, I claim that.
Dr. Daniels.
That's right. That is right. All right, Jerome, it was so good talking to you.
It's wonderful to speak with you.
You shared the storyline. You shared all the positive people who helped to shape you, the bad experiences that helped to shape you. And all of these things have prepped you for this particular role. I just know you're going to blow this out the water.
I'm excited. I can't wait till Thursday night when we open.
I'm gonna be praying.
I'm nervous though. I'm nervous. I'm shaking like this. I'm shaking.
That's normal. That's normal, right?
But it's really the words and these characters. I hope you can see it. But the words, the characters, the stage, the lighting is gonna be great.
I just know when I saw it, I was like, this is an important piece.
It's an important piece.
This is social equity, what we're talking about right now, in schools, in grad schools. Students are doing their PhDs on.
There are people still on death row that don't belong there.
Wow.
Every day, our young men are being corralled into going to prison. These deals, taking these plea deals and all these things. And, when you do those things, sometimes they say, well, don't go to trial. If you go to trial, if you lose, so on and so on. If you believe that you are innocent, go to trial.
Mm-hmm.
Do not take a plea deal.
My word.
And because once you take a plea deal, you did it.
Wow. And sometimes they're railroaded by making them take a plea deal, scaring them into taking
Yes.
Lord have
mercy. And let me tell you something. I'm just gonna say it, put to you like this. When you're a young man and you go through the legal system, all hands on, you're nothing but fresh meat for
predators,
for the officers and the inmates. But it starts with the officers as well. And I know that firsthand.
Wow.
Okay, I know that for you gotta read the book, but I know that for firsthand what can happen to you in the penal system because I slept with the sheriff.
Mm.
And he explained it to me how it worked.
That's
And one thing about that is if you're in there and they make you have oral sex with them, who gonna believe you?
there to protect you.
Who gonna believe you?
Yeah.
You say that they did that.
Mm.
You know, so trust me, it's best. The truth always works. Honesty always works.
Mhm.
Young people, watch who you hang with, who you socialize with. Everybody's not your friend.
Right.
Go for joy rides.
That's true.
Do not do crazy things with other people because they're your friends. Do not be a follower. Be a leader. And that's the only thing that's kept me on my journey and safe.
Mhm.
Never, ever been a follower. I've always led my own path.
Mhm. And that's important.
Even though when I was young, I told someone, I says, you know, I was going, my first experience with a therapist was when they sent me to a therapist because I had seizures at 12 years old. So I had to go to a therapist. But when I was 16 and I went back to another therapist, you know what my therapy was?
Don't say abuse. Don't say they abuse.
Sex.
Oh my goodness.
My hour or 30 minutes with my therapist was on the floor having sex. So I always tell people to watch their children.
That is terrible.
Watch their children. And God bless, and God bless the dead. And I say that because the people that I talk about, most of them are gone. You know what I mean? Because I'm 59 years old. But that was my therapy on the floor having sex with someone.
Terrible. That's
16 years old. Now, when I was 16 years old, I thought I was grown and I had it going on. I knew what I was doing. I didn't realize that I was being sexually abused.
right. That you were being manipulated, controlled, abused.
Yes.
Some predator.
Yes.
And,
Yes. Some religious predator. Some person that went to church.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
A deacon.
Hiding behind.
Yeah, you know, so, and me at my age, I would never look at anyone 16. I don't even want you when you're.
Well, that's you're not a pedophile.
You gotta be old for me to want to date you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was 16 years old. And
we were surrounded by, not at school to my knowledge, but in our time.
Yes.
That was kind of like a norm.
That was the norm back then.
It was like accepted.
That was, and you know it's true. It was accepted.
You know, I know it's true because my boyfriend was 7 years older than me, and no, but my parents accepted it.
You forget we were in high school together.
Right. And no wonder my friends were like,
well, he was a grown man to us.
Grown. That's right.
He was a grown man to us.
Right.
And with me, I had my first sexual experience was with a 65-year-old. So to me, your man was young. But as I look at it now, I wouldn't want my daughter to date someone that old.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, see that?
The thinking was different. And I think it because
our
parents had come out of, you get married at 18
That's right.
high school, like my parents did. My mother had graduated high school and my dad had graduated the year before, and they got married and started their family. And that was what was expected. And if you try to do different from that, you got a lot of pushback. So times are different. Like we've seen a lot of social change, but these same injustices just cycle through, you know, and I really appreciate your work, this play. Please tell them to stream it, please. So
You didn't send an email to them and say, why aren't you streaming this? This is so important.
Are you serious in an email?
Yes, send them yes, they love emails.
Is that, let me share that screen again and see if that email is on there.
If not, I will send it to you, but definitely you should send them an email.
Let me see.
Because they love
oh yeah, outoftheboxtheater.com.
Yeah,
website. That's the
yes.
website.
Yes.
Okay, you'll have to send me the email then.
Yes, but the email's on the website. So go to the website, you can leave a note.
Okay.
Leave them a note right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
This work is too important to just yeah.
They must really, because it really, really is important. Because the things that I'm talking about, all these things trickle down to what happens to people once they go through the system or before they go to the system. These things happen. See, again, it's a life. These things that happen to people are sometimes it's a cycle. Just keeps on happening.
And let me ask you this. Do you know if these characters, now these are real human beings. Do you know what were their levels of education? Like, could they read? Were they literate? Like,
yeah. Robert could read. He trained horses at the racetrack, so he could read. I would say he probably didn't have a high school education. He had a high school education.
Okay.
And then the other young lady, the other guy, they all were like probably high school educated.
Okay.
College degree, who will be college educated? I don't think any of them probably went to college. Maybe.
Were they all Black or people?
No. It's actually, there's one white female, two Caucasians, and 2 Black guys, me and David.
And do you know if they were like, what were their social economics? Like, were they poor, like destitute? You know, like
poor,
okay,
middle class, could have been middle class.
Okay.
The guys was middle class. See, middle class at this time is different from middle class at that time.
Well, middle class back in the day meant you had a house.
Yeah.
Like your parents were homeowners. You probably had one vehicle.
Yeah, that's
Dad were. It was a
I would say middle class. Yes, and maybe Dave, the guy who David, he probably was not middle class.
But none of them were.
Well, I would say this: his mother owned a house, though. His mother owned a house, but again, down in Mississippi, you could own a house that was an ex-plantation, though.
Oh, I see.
You understand what I'm saying? You can be a homeowner in certain instances. Everybody had a home in Mississippi. They weren't renting apartments.
So they had those very modest homes then.
Yeah.
I'm just back then. None of them were wealthy and had.
No, they weren't wealthy. No, because money helps you get out. Money helps.
They were outside of the system.
Yeah.
So they didn't know how to maneuver in the system.
There you go.
And no one was teaching them or helping them either.
They didn't know. And the only reason why I knew, because of my daddy and mama. My father knew the system. My father was smart. He was like, they were like, we'll give him a public defender. My dad's like, hell no, but hell no. This young man needs an attorney. Parents spent a lot of money to keep me out of jail. But a lot of people didn't have money like that to be kept, and they didn't know the system.
Yeah.
Says to you, were you there? I saw you. You had sex with her. You didn't hit her that hard. You didn't mean to hit her that hard, but you hit her. And you're like, yeah, I didn't know.
And before they have someone confessing to something that wasn't even done.
That's right.
Wow.
They're doing this. And because another thing, My daddy had been a hustler, and I knew how it worked because my daddy kind of like schooled me about hustling. My father used to tell me my father had been a loan shark. So he knew about cutting folks' ears off and all. If you owe me money, cut a little bit of their ear off at a time and all that stuff. So I was well known about street life.
Mm-hmm.
I knew, don't say nothing.
Well, I mean,
Say shit, no. And that's what I did. They had me there for 24 to 36 hours. I didn't say, I didn't do it. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. But I finished, I didn't do it. They came, do you hear? They said, I did not do it. But I, only because, again, these people in Exonerated, they hadn't been schooled. They were innocent people.
mm-hmm.
Some of them were just innocent bystanders.
Wow.
Situation. Like the one other woman in the show, the character in the show, her and her husband went to prison and they were both put on death row. Where her husband, he was executed.
What?
And when they executed him, it took them a long time to execute this dude, that it was talked about all in the newspapers how when they executed him, fire came out of his head because the execution didn't go correctly.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? And this man was an innocent man that was executed.
Oh my goodness, this is just horrible.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So there are a lot of people, and in every Black family in America, there's someone in jail.
Or someone who's been, right.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
And people who act like it doesn't exist, that's because they don't want to see it and they don't want to acknowledge it.
Well, I think this is very important, and it definitely needs to just be seen and heard.
Yes.
By as many people who can, because these conversations are going on currently in universities and different communities, you know, especially surrounding social justice, surrounding everything that was going on in 2020 with, you know, the riots and the different, you know, people getting killed even before 2020. And these conversations are necessary if we're going to right the wrongs, change the systems, improve these systems, and make them fair and just systems. So I thank you so much for coming and sharing and talking about this. And I just really want the best for this play. I hope you all just
thank you, sister.
Just
but can I say one more thing? Yeah. I want people that are listening to do me a favor. Find a young person and mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really, really important, because if it wasn't for mentors, I don't know where I would be at this point in my life. So find a young person and allow people to come to you and talk to you. Allow your children, your own children, to talk to you and express to you what's happening in their life instead of judging them.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to your children and watch your young children. Watch your children. Because see, my parents are out arguing and fighting and shooting at each other and shooting at each other's friends. And they weren't watching me. And see, when you're not watching, when you're not watching your children, other adults.
Someone is, right? Predators.
That's right.
Predators are watching.
That's right. Your friends can be predators.
That's right.
This can be predators.
That's right.
Okay, so it's important to watch your children and to listen to your children. And that Black thing, or that thing people got about what's done in this house stays in this house, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, that's old school. That's an old school mind frame. I guess right. You can still say that, but if people are being abused in their home,
that's right. It's not good
to have a way to
that's right. That and one about my mama and daddy they knew, I would tell it.
It was your safety net.
I would listen. First of all, I would tell it. Like if my father took me somewhere and my mother asked me where, I would tell it, because you know why? You shouldn't have took me there if you didn't want me to tell it.
Mhm.
So I'm the child. You're the adult.
Yeah.
So I'm not supposed to be holding your secrets for you.
Mhm.
All you guys or females who are doing what you're doing and you take your children in your devilment, don't do it.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't pay off. It really doesn't pay off.
Right. And it wounds the child.
And it ruins the child. And thank God
Yeah.
I can see through it.
Right. You see, but if you tell the truth, some people are, you're lying. So it ends up wounding the child. Like,
That's right.
Why don't you believe me? Like,
but my dad would say, don't take Jrome because he gonna tell it. I sure will. Because I feel like I tell my family, you know, they said, well, how could you talk about your parents? I said, I'm not talking about them.
not right.
I would love my parents. My parents did what they could do, but their technique was not cool.
Mhm.
How about that?
You honor your parents. That's what you and I were talking about before.
Yeah.
You honor your parents all the time. You speak highly of them. You praise them. You just tell what you went through and how it impacted you. That's your truth. And people can learn from hearing your truth. So I thank you for the advice you're leaving us with, because as a teacher, teaching high schoolers, teaching middle schoolers all those years,
all the time.
They're as vulnerable as children with these predators and with people who want to, harm them or misdirect their lives or, control over them or whatever. Parents definitely need to tune in to these middle schoolers, high schoolers, build bridges with them, be with them as much as you can, and protect them so that they are not railroaded one day,
or molested or
right.
or anything else that is negative.
So
but
important.
It starts at home though.
Yeah.
And it starts with teaching. You have to teach your children. You have to teach your young men about wearing their pants below their waist.
What that really means.
You gotta know what that means. Fashion. People say, "Oh, that's fashion." No, not fashion.
It's not fashion, guys.
Not fashion. That's a mentality.
Yeah, it has a meaning. It has a sexual connotation.
That's right.
And they may be adopting it to change what it means, but
it is not.
It has a specific meaning. And
that's right. And someone molested at that age, a very young age, I will never ever forget that experience as long as I live.
Right.
And I have the scars. They left me with scars. You see what I'm saying? So you have to watch what you do. You have to be able to, and also you have to be responsible enough to say, I did this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're young, you're not responsible for what things happen to you.
Right. Not if some adult.
Not from,
you may be as a young person, you may be responsible for maybe telling your parents not the truth, where you're going, who you're with.
That's it.
So that part, but not how.
But not that.
Right.
Not that aspect.
Yeah.
You are a child. So you feel guilty or feel like you did something wrong. You can't tell anybody that something happened to you.
Right.
Tell it.
I feel like praying right now, Jrome, in the name of Jesus. I just feel like praying because I really, Lord, in the name of Jesus, I just want to pray and say that if families are watching this video, that they will heed to what Jrome is saying to them. Father God, that they will heed the warnings so that they are not harmed, and that you will encamp your angels around teenagers and young children and middle schoolers, high schoolers, and their families, and keep them covered and protected and safe. Lord, I thank you that Jrome is able to be here, and I
Thank you.
that
Thank you.
blessed by this work. In Jesus' name, I just had to pray. You know me.
God bless your heart. Thank you.
Pray.
Prayers are always needed.
That's right. I
Lift
just
us up, sister. Lift us up.
I thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you, sister.
Yep. I'm
Blessings
always
to you. I know. I be watching you on Facebook. I be seeing you. I'm proud of your book.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
proud
you.
that you're writing. That's a wonderful thing. That's good.
Thank you.
How's the family? The family good?
Everybody's good. Yeah.
You tell your mama I said, mwah.
I will tell her. I sure will.
She's such a lovely woman.
Yes, she is.
And she's a trooper.
Yes, she is, isn't she?
She is. Is she 80 now?
Yep. Yep. 80 years old.
You know, I knew when she was a young woman.
Yes. Younger than what we are now, right?
I met your mom, she was in her 30s.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm 59 and oh my God.
Yes, we're in their 30s. That is so cool.
Sure were. Oh yeah. Party you had, girl. This girl could throw a party. She could pray and throw a party. She always could pray and throw a party.
That party was the talk, wasn't
That party was the talk, baby. Okay. We had a good time.
Had it outside.
With no drugs, with no crazy stuff happening.
We had fun.
That's right. Your daddy, oh my God, just wonderful memories.
Yes, indeed.
I love you, darling, and thank you.
Love you too.
For having me on your show. Oh,
all right. I'll be in touch.
And to all your listeners, listen, go to JromeAndre.com. JromeAndre.com. Check out the music. I have a wonderful new video out. Lovely song called Let It Fall. And go check out Superwoman. Check out the songs. You will not be.
They won't be disappointed.
Disappointed. Thank you.
All right.
I love you.
I'll be in touch.
God bless you. Talk to you soon, sugar. Peace.
Okay. Peace.
Okay.